So today what I'm going to show you is a really easy pasta meal that we have been really enjoying, and it's all one pot meal, and it's a basic tomato sauce with lentils mixed with pasta. You can do this with any kind of pasta you want, spaghetti, shells, anything you want, any pasta. I'm going to show you what we're going to be cooking with. It's a plain tomato sauce. So this is all tomato sauce, and then this goes in with the pastas. So we're going to need garlic, and I will have all the ingredients below, measurements. Garlic, onions, we've got our lentils, and this is a mixture of green lentils, which are the big ones, and then French lentils here. Now I have done this with just plain green lentils, and I have done it with just plain French lentils, so you can play around with it. So you're going to need your lentils, you're going to need your tomatoes, and you can use any tomato sauce you have, anything you want. This one is the actual tomatoes, and I crushed them with my hand, and then I've filled it up about a quarter of a way up, so that's about 1.5 cups of water. And then you're going to need 1 can of tomato paste, and I add a little bit of sugar, and this is a tablespoon of sugar. That's optional, up to you. And then spices, I've got some dried basil, some oregano, and some freshly ground black pepper. That's why it's all messy here. And then for the pasta, I'm using this pasta here, and it's just a short pasta. And then I'm using a big heaping bowl of mixed greens, and these are called power greens, and you've got some chard, some kale, and baby spinach. And that's it. So let me get everything ready and we'll get started. And because this is an oil-free meal, I'm just using water. And I just pour the water in the pan, and that's when I know that it's ready. And now I'm just going to add my garlic and my onion. And I'm going to saute this for about 3 to 4 minutes. So we'll be back. Okay, so my onions are ready. And as you can see, every so often they'll try and stick. And I'll just add some more water on that, and that'll prevent it from sticking. You see, no sticking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my spices. I like to add them before I add the other stuff. And I just mix them in. And now I'm going to add all of my wet ingredients. I'm going to add my tomato sauce. I'm going to add my water. And we may have to add more water depending on how thirsty our lentils are. And I'm going to add my tomato paste. Now I'm going to bring this to a simmer, and we'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, it's simmering. And now I'm going to add my sugar. Just stuck. And mix that in. And lastly, I'm going to add my lentils. And I'm just going to let them cook here. Now I have an extra cup of water. I rinsed out the container that was holding my tomato sauce. And every so often I'm going to be checking my lentils to see if they need more water. And if I need to add more water, I'll show you what it looks like. One more thing I forgot to say is it's roaring right now. So I'm going to lower it and put it to simmer and to low, and I'm going to cover it for about 40 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes, and you can see it's really thick. And what I want to do is I want to water it down a little bit. So I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of water at a time and just cover it up and let it simmer for another 10 minutes, and then we'll check back with it. Okay, so it's been about 45 to 50 minutes, and our sauce is ready. Now, if you were doing a traditional Greek tomato sauce, you would throw in a stick of cinnamon while it's cooking, just so you know. And I know that sounds weird, but that is the traditional tomato sauce / meat sauce that they do. So, right now I'm going to cover this and put it off the heat and just let it sit. And in the meantime, I'm going to cook my pasta, and I will show you what we're going to do with that. Okay, so my pasta is ready, and before I drain it, I'm going to use the same container that I use for the tomato sauce, and I'm going to take out about 1 cup of water, maybe even more. There we go. And now I'm going to drain it and bring it back. So I'm just going to put it in my pot back here, and I'm going to now mix in my greens. Now the reason why I don't add them with the water is because for some reason it makes them all clump together and they get really mushy. So I just kind of add them with the pasta, and that kind of cooks them a little bit. So I'm going to mix this just for 30 or 40 seconds or so until they get nice and soft. Okay, so as you can see, they're nice and soft, and they still have a little crunch to them, and they're bright green, which is what we want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pasta sauce, and you don't have to do this, you can do it individually. And I'm just going to pour it all on here. Try not to make a big mess. And I'm going to mix it all together. Now, sometimes it'll get really thick, and I kind of want it to be creamy and more lighter. So like now it's kind of thick for me to lift it and move it. So that's where you're going to add the water. And I'm going to add it about 1/4 cup at a time. And now you're going to see the difference. I'm going to add a little bit more water. And it is ready to be served. So I'm going to serve it up and show you what we're going to be eating it with. Okay, so this is what we're going to eat this meal with. And of course it's the pasta with the lentils, and then I made a quick salad over here, and then I made a creamy Italian dressing, and I'll put a link to that website. It's not my recipe, it's from the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, and I'll put a link to that video. And then I made some bread rolls, and that's dinner for tonight. Now, leftovers can be put in the refrigerator and eaten for lunch cold. They're delicious cold. So I hope you guys enjoyed this meal, and thanks for watching.